Hello, can you believe it's time for another video? I can. And can you believe that this is the last topic in genetics that we're going to talk about? It's crazy, but it's true. Okay, so we're going to learn about pedigrees and not like dog food or anything like that. And this is like a family tree. They all kind of look similar, the same, as you can see on the screen here. And you can think of it as another word for a family tree. And instead of putting a picture of someone's face on there to kind of illustrate like, hey, this is so-and-so, this is great grandma, whatever, they represent them by shapes and colors, either colored in or blank. So they use symbols to show what family members carry what traits. So you can kind of track through time. Where did you get this recessive trait from? Who had blue eyes in the family? Why don't I have blue eyes? So let's just look at this so we can kind of get an idea of, stop touching your face, sorry, of what's going on. So females are represented by a circle, males are represented by a square, and if they have the recessive trait, usually we're looking at a recessive trait, they're going to be filled in. So this just shows a filled in square, but it could be a filled in circle or a filled in square. Now when we look at a more complicated family tree, here we have a woman and a man. If they're connected in between like this with a line, it shows they're married. See right here, marriage line. They're married, so it is like me and Mr. Huff. And then this line of descent means their children. Descent means your children, like you descended from your parents. You're a descendant, okay, in case you've never heard that word before. Okay, so line of descent just means these are their kids. So these two people have a son and a daughter. So if it was me and Mr. Huff, there'd be a line connecting us for being married, and then a line coming down in just one circle for our one child. If they're connected like above their heads, like this one, it says they're siblings, brothers and sisters, or brothers, or just sisters. So they're not married. Okay, if there's a line connecting them here, that's incest. No incest here. So a line above them shows their brother and sister. So this is mom and dad. This is brother and sister. And then these numbers here show what generation we're talking about. So this is the first generation we're talking about. And this is the second generation that we're talking about, their kids. You can see a bunch of generations. Let's take a look at a more complicated one. Okay, so we're looking at freckles, and they're recessive, and we're going to find out is it recessive in this trait. So it's filled in. So let's just take a look and just make sure we understand how to look at a family tree. So here's our generations, 1, 2, and 3. So you can think of this as like grandma and grandpa, the mom and dad generation, and then the kid generation, right? So here's grandpa and grandma. Grandma has this trait, freckles. Right? They're married. They have children. See this line here? This shows their children. They have 1, 2, 3 children. Well, what about all these other ones that are here? Take a look. These are the people they married. Okay, so take a look. Here's their son. This is not their daughter. See how there's a line that does not connect them? There's no line there. There's a line that connects this son and this woman, showing that they're married. Okay. So you have to be careful and you have to pay attention. If there's a line that connects up and down, it shows that there's parent and child. If there's no line that connects them up and down, that's not their parent and that's not their child. Okay, so just pay attention to where the line is. If there's a line that's connecting across, like between the little circle and square, they're married. And if there's a line above their heads, it means they're brother and sister. So these two are married. These 3, see how the line connects kind of like above their heads? 1, 2, and 3. They are brother and sister. Okay, so number 2, number 3, and number 5 in generation 2 are 1 brother and 2 sisters. These other ones, these squares, 1, 6, and the circle 4, they're the people that they married. So number 1 is the brother-in-law of 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. I hope that helps you kind of understand what we're looking at. Okay, so 1 and 2 over here have children, 2 girls. 3 and 4 have children, a girl and a boy, and 5 and 6 have children, 2 boys. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. So here's Grandma and Grandpa up here having their 3 children, and those 3 children got married, and they have 6 grandchildren. So 1 and 2 have 6 grandchildren. Okay, it's like a good-sized family. All right, so we're looking at this trait, freckles. We're trying to figure out, is it dominant or recessive? I kind of gave it away, but let's just look, okay? So 1 does not have this trait. 2 has the trait. They have 1 child that doesn't have it. They have 2 children that do have it, okay? This one has children that don't have it. This one has children that do have it. This one has 1 child that has it and 1 child that doesn't have it. So our job, a lot of times when we look at family trees, is going to be to figure out what are the genotypes, what are the letters that would represent the people here, and they don't tell you. Okay, they might tell you, hey, this trait is recessive. And then from there you have to figure out everyone's genotype. Well, if it's recessive, very easy. Okay, so if it's freckles, we can call this 2 little f's. How do you know that it's 2 little f's? It's a recessive trait. Recessives always are represented by the little letter, and they have to have 2 to show the trait. So freckles would be 2 little f's. Okay, well, what about Grandpa? What must his genotype be? He's not 2 little f's, because if he was 2 little f's, well, then he would be filled in. He would have the recessive trait and have freckles. He doesn't. But he has children who have freckles. If he was 2 big F's, could that happen? Try it with a Punnett square. Put on one side, big F, no, that's okay. Put on one side 2 big F's, and on the other side 2 little F's. Could they have any child that has 2 little F's? You can take a minute and do a Punnett square right now. Did you try it? Are you making a Punnett square? You should try it. And if you did, you'll see that none of them have 2 little f's. So if he was 2 big F's, he would not be able to have any child that has 2 little f's, that has freckles. So he must be big F, little f. Okay, so then we have to use logic and kind of think, what must their traits be? If you take a look here, we know this person must be big F, little f. Why? They don't have freckles, but both their parents are carriers, and she has got 2 little f's, so she must have gotten a little f from her mom. And then we don't know what he is. We could guess these both at least have 1 big F. Could he be 2 big F's? Yes. Could he be big F, little f? Also yes. Okay, there's a chance that even if they have big F, little f, that they have no children with freckles. Okay, so we don't know. Is that a right answer? Can we not know? Yes. There are times. If you ever got a question in the future, hey, what's the genotype of this person? They're not going to ask you one of those ones where you don't have a clue. They'll ask you ones where you could figure it out, like Grandpa. Okay, so that's how we look at it. This is an example of a sex-linked pedigree, a sex-linked family tree. Now that's getting into some detail. I know sex-linked is kind of, remember, girls can be carriers, boys can't be carriers. It's more common in boys than girls. So we see that the boys here have this sex-linked trait. We see here nobody does, so it must be grandma, great-grandma up here is a carrier. Okay, if she wasn't a carrier, well, she wouldn't have been able to pass it down to great-grandson. Okay, and her son wouldn't have had a grandpa. Okay, so you're not going to see one of these. Okay, chances are. But if you do see a family tree and you see only boys seem to have this trait, it's probably a sex-linked trait. So the last thing that I wanted to tell you about that we didn't get to talk about are chromosomal mutations. So what happens if a whole chromosome mutates? Or what happens during meiosis if the chromosomes don't separate fully when they're forming gametes? Well, we can see that. In this case, we kind of talked a little bit about it. An extra chromosome 21, trisomy of 21, that's Down syndrome. So this person here has Down syndrome. We can see that's a girl. It just means they have 1 extra chromosome. A word for that is called nondisjunction. That's the word when the chromosomes don't separate properly during meiosis.